There is nothing about me that is sadistic. Well, kiddo, this is me at my most masochistic. Kill Bill stars Uma Thurman, David Carradine, and is directed by Quentin Tarantino. What's up, guys? Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite directors. I can't believe this is only my second movie by Quentin Tarantino that I've ever reviewed. And this is a requested review. A good friend of mine, Dylan Clancy on Facebook, a year ago this month, he was actually supposed to get married to his fiancee, Declan Jamieson. And they were actually gonna get married in the church from Kill Bill that the bride almost met her demise. And so I can't even imagine what you're going through, Dylan, but this review is for you, buddy. I know Kill Bill is one of your favorite movies, and I know this movie is special to you for obvious reasons. So anyway, here we go, Kill Bill. Now, Kill Bill is Quentin Tarantino's first real full-on action movie. And if you know Quentin Tarantino, you know he's a big fan of Asian cinema, specifically martial arts cinema. Really, the guy's a fan of all types of cinema. That's one thing I love about Quentin Tarantino. So Kill Bill is kind of an homage to that. Really, it started on the production of Pulp Fiction. If you remember, Uma Thurman was actually in that movie, and her and Quentin Tarantino were fast friends. And during production, they would constantly talk about this idea of the bride and having to seek revenge on, you know, her killer, who was Bill. And there's even kind of an Easter egg to it in the movie with her mentioning the TV show that was a pilot called the Fox Force 5. And her description of that is very similar to the Deadly Viper Squad in Kill Bill. But first and foremost, Kill Bill is a revenge story. Right at the beginning, we see this black and white scene. This is what caused this whole chain of events to be set into motion. And my little intro, when I was quoting or kind of paraphrasing one of the lines from the movie, one of my favorite lines from the movie about Bill, you know, his last words to the bride.
This is me and my most masochistic.
Before he kills her, or in his mind thinks he kills her. And then her last words to him are,
Bill, it's your baby.
Right away, Quentin grabs you. You are immediately interested in that last line, and you know that that line is going to play a major part in future events of Kill Bill, or possibly Kill Bill Volume 2. But the bride wakes up 4 years later in a hospital, and right away all this emotion and all this betrayal just comes rushing back to her. Immediately she's focused. She knows what she has to do. She makes a list and she says, I have to get revenge. I have to kill these people. And that's her sole mission throughout the whole movie. One thing I love about this is the direction by Quentin Tarantino. In all my reviews, I approach them in a way where I want to talk about what jumps out at me in the movie. It could be an actor, it could be the direction, it could be the score, whatever. But in a movie like Kill Bill, you have to talk about the direction, because Quentin's direction really is a star of the movie in and of itself. The guy directs like no other director. He borrows elements from other directors. Brian De Palma is a major influence in one of the scenes in this movie, but in the end, he makes it all his own. There is that Tarantino stamp on it that is undeniable. Also, you'll notice that the scenes are broken down into non-linear patterns. He did this in Pulp Fiction, he did this in Reservoir Dogs. Quentin Tarantino, I think, gets bored by just linear direction, telling the story in chronological order. I think by changing it up like that and starting with a scene that might take place in the middle chronologically, it keeps the audience on their toes and it keeps the movie interesting. Also, I love the way Tarantino paces a scene. Sometimes he will let dialogue just dictate a scene for a good 10 minutes, and then he will just smack you right over the head with a sledgehammer.
Very funny.
And it takes a very talented director to be able to pull something like this off, to keep the audience interested in that dialogue for that long. Very few can do it. Tarantino is a master of it. And when I say hit you over the head with a sledgehammer, I mean it, because the violence in this movie is so loud and in your face. You will see blood flying all over the place. Did that just rhyme? I think I just made a rhyme. But yeah, this movie, so bloody, so violent. I love it. Also, Tarantino knows how to make interesting characters. There are so many of them in this movie. First off, the Deadly Viper Squad. And you don't even see Bill in this whole movie. You just hear his voice. But David Carradine's voice just has such a commanding presence, and you are completely interested in everything that he says. Also, Daryl Hannah plays Ellie Driver, and she is just this character that hates the bride.
I might never have liked you.
Cannot stand her, wants to kill her, and I love that scene where she is standing next to her in the bed, and she is this close to killing her, but then Bill tells her not to, right at the last second. So you can tell that there's this major rivalry between her and the bride. You don't really know exactly why or what happened in the past, but you know eventually it's gonna present itself. And also, one of my favorite characters by far is O-Ren Ishii, played by Lucy Liu. This segment of the movie really is the best part. One of the main focuses of Volume 1 is the bride getting to Tokyo. And once she gets to Tokyo, I just love that she wears the Bruce Lee Game of Death outfit. It's so iconic looking. But she goes up against the crazy 88. These are 88 assassins, and she just cleans house. And this is probably one of the longest action scenes I've ever seen, and it holds your focus constantly throughout the whole thing. And one of the first major fights that she has is with Gogo Yubari. I have the Funko Pop right here, actually. And the actress that played Gogo is Chioki Kuri. And you might remember her from the movie Battle Royale, which Quentin was a massive fan of, and so much a fan of that he wanted her for this movie, and she was perfect. I love villains that have their own unique weapon, and the little ball and chain weapon that Gogo has is deadly as hell. But the major showdown at the end of this movie is O-Ren Ishii. And I like how every fight scene in the movie is played out a little differently, and the one with O-Ren is no different. There's almost kind of a calm to it. You can tell that there's a massive respect between the two, but also this massive hatred. Also, the Hattori Hanzo sword scene in the movie is really great. I love that Tarantino used Sonny Chiba. And the scene starts off one way and then goes a completely different direction by the end. You know, the bride comes in and she's not acting like a very serious person. She's acting like kind of a dumb teenager. But then once she reveals her true intentions, Hattori Hanzo knows that she means business and he must make her this sword, which takes months. And I couldn't finish a Quentin Tarantino review without talking about the music. The music in Volume 1 has more of an Asian theme to it, whereas the music in Volume 2 has more of a Western theme. As a matter of fact, Robert Rodriguez did a lot of the music in that movie. But there are a few musical cues that really stick out. One is what I call the Ellie Driver theme, with that whistle that you just can't get out of your head. Also, whenever the bride has her prey in her sights, there's this really infectious musical cue. But you can tell Tarantino is just a massive music lover. And I think some of the best directors, they have kind of a musical stamp to their movies. Scorsese is a perfect example. A lot of times the music will guide the viewer through the movie. And that is a big part of Kill Bill Volume 1. So guys, in the end, I have to give Kill Bill Volume 1 a Trap on Island. This movie is one of the best action movies out there. It's one of my favorite Tarantino films, and it's one that I watch the most. I think out of all his films, Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill Volume 1 have the most rewatch value. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Kill Bill Volume 1? Looking forward to hearing them. Also looking forward to doing Part 2. Also for Horror Talk 24/7, make sure you come on over to the Killer Flicks Facebook page, where we also have Free For All Fridays. If you look down below, you can see all my social media links. If you like what I'm doing, please hit that subscribe button. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.